look at this lineup and you look at what's happening with Matt McClain, you take it all, and if you were to just insert Teoscar Hernandez, this lineup would be cooking because we didn't even talk about Austin Hayes because he's hurt every other week. He's back on the IL. He's had 18 games, 254, 278, 433 with a WRC plus of 84. That's still not good. That's still not good. But if you were to insert someone like him, you have an offense where everyone else plays on top of each other. And it gives some other people protection, which is what the Cubs did when they traded for Kyle Tucker. Even if it's just for 1 year, it makes everyone else better. It makes the offense click. And that is what this offense needs. And that's what this clubhouse needs. It's what this dugout needed. It needs someone who's a veteran, who's been there and done it.
Preach, brother.
It hasn't happened. And this is a glaring issue. Because that's what takes this team over to the next step to make them feel like they're contenders. And he tried to do that with Jammer Candelario. And how the fuck is that working?
His lumbar hurts.
Take
it easy.
Oh, I have a strained hiney.
He has a lower half injury. We don't know where it's at.
It's somewhere from the half of his body that gives him support from the ground up.
He has a spinal cord contusion. How dare you?
I know. And I think all of this goes back to this philosophy. It goes back to the Reds saying, what if we signed a guy who hits doubles? Because then we hope that those doubles turn into home runs at Great American Ballpark. But here's your big issue. The ball only flies at Great American Ballpark when it's warm. So we're looking at it's finally going to crack 80, and it's going to be June 2nd when they play. So you're counting your offensive strategy for the months of June, July, August, and a good chunk of September.
And only during home games.
Correct. So you're looking at about 50-ish games. Do you know what month isn't included in there?
No.
October, when it matters. So, you're basing your free agent philosophy when you go out and you sign a bat, that you're saying that these 50 games is going to help us take the next step. That doesn't work, and it hasn't worked.
No.
You know what you can do? You can sign a guy who's known for hitting home runs because when they hit home runs at Great American Ballpark, they go farther in that time period.
Yeah, not just in theory, but in practice. In known numbers, in years and years of data to back it up, as opposed to, again, the parlay theory of the Reds. If X, Y, and Z happen, then perhaps this will happen.
Maybe.
Yeah, and going off of, the Candelario thing here, if we're talking back about, the most important pressing issue that the Reds seem to have, which is getting a power-hitting outfielder, most notably a right fielder, they instead chose to do this. And I do like Austin Hayes. I do like Gavin Lux. However, when Austin Hayes is hurt already a third of the season thus far.
His third IL trip, yeah.
Yes, third trip to the IL, and then you are having Gavin Lux only bat against righties. Mm-hmm. That's not, a seasonal solution. That is an application sort of a solution.
Sure.
So, yeah, we aren't. And then if to start off the year, your number one, your A move for right field is Jake Fraley. That's not getting it done. And then we get Connor Joe, another dude that isn't going to help. Just, like a bandage on the system there.
Yeah.
Just real quick, I just want to pull up. The way the Reds have treated right field, which has been the most obvious, glaring offensive issue the Reds have had over the past years. It's been a rotating door of players that they just hope might work. Maybe this will happen, or they just drop the bag on signing. So I'm just going to go over some of the right fielders currently. Obviously some of these are going to be the bigger ones. Yankees, we got Aaron Judge. We got Ronald Acuna for the Braves. Padres, Fernando Tatis. Mets, Juan Soto. Cubs, Kyle Tucker. Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. Angels, Mike Trout. Rays, got Josh Lowe. Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez. Matt Wallner for the Twins. Willie Abreu, Red Sox. Tyler O'Neill, Orioles. Lawrence Butler. You got Colton Cowser, too. Orioles up there. Blue Jays, George Springer. Brewers, Sal Frelick.
Jackson Chourio.
These players here can be needle movers for these teams. And I think the way the Reds approach like the right field, they approach it like the right field that way you would for a little league team, where we'll stick the booger eating idiot out there who you just like feel, oh man, isn't he such a nice little guy? No, we need to have somebody that can hit home runs and hit dingers. We can't have somebody out there that's like a feel good player. Like, oh, he went to West Point, or Jake Fraley walks to church every day, or wherever it is. And I really love Will Benson, but we didn't give him a shot until just recently. And that wasn't even you addressing the issue.
No.
So it's just like, if you're going position to position, we might as well not even have a right fielder. It's just pathetic. If like the best we can hope for is Jake Fraley's feeling good and doesn't have the flu or something. Yeah. Like, this is not a serious organization when you then, we'll get Connor Joe and that'll help.
Give us depth.
It's just pathetic.
Yeah,
it's so upsetting.
Yeah, it's just another guy who you're like, man, what a nice piece. That's a solid MLB player who can play a bunch of different positions, right? The thing that they have is they go, man, if this person's in this ballpark, albeit all of those moves, Will Benson trade, Jake Fraley trade, this could happen. We hope that this happens. It could happen. It could, maybe. That's the big problem here. Could, maybe, should. When you don't get, you go out and you're supposed to get someone with a track record. And if you don't want to spend the money to do it, I don't know what to tell you, because you're wasting a lot of really good things that are happening with this ball club. And honestly, you're wasting a Hall of Famer's time sitting in that dugout.
Yeah.
If you aren't going to do it, then what are we doing? You got to fucking fix it. And, we'll see a lot of things that can come to fruition. We'll see where we're at when we approach the trade deadline. A little worried about that. But this also includes Rhys Hines, where it's just been a rotation of who's been hot, let's put him out there, who's healthy. And instead of it's all a supporting cast with no star. And it's becoming more and more and more and more apparent that they screwed the pooch when they should have went out and done what they were supposed to be a winning ball club. You were keeping up with the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just had a bopper, surely you could have. Because this team just gives up after the fifth.
Statistically, they haven't been able to overcome a deficit after the sixth this year.
At all.
No. So they haven't shown the fight in them to pull themselves off the mat, and they don't necessarily have the firepower to have a guy outside of a few that can change the game with one swing.
And you know what? That's not on the manager. The manager gets the lineup card together, talks with the GM, they build it out for the day, and there's their game plan. Whoever goes out there and swings the stick and plays the field, that's who it's on. And I just don't see someone in that dugout being like, come on, rally them up. Like, I know that isn't just your normal, typical baseball mentality, is you got someone who's a fucking cheerleader down there, or someone who's firing everybody up. But there's got to be in the clubhouse behind closed doors someone who is that dude, and they have to be established and show, like, there's my World Series ring. I know how to do this and take you to the promised land. There isn't that on this lineup. He's just not there. And It's obvious, and let's hope that changes, man. Let's hope that something happens at the deadline. Let's see what happens. They've got they've got depth that they can trade from and to make this happen. But at this point, I'm not putting a lot of hope into this offense and turning it around and doing that, especially when this was the easy month.